Imagine spending 3 weeks having a conversation that convinces you you've discovered a revolutionary mathematical formula, one that could crack military-grade encryption, create force field vests, and build levitation machines. Now imagine that conversation was with ChatGPT and none of it was real. This is the absolutely wild story of Alan Brooks, a 47-year-old from Canada who went down the most absurd AI rabbit hole you've ever heard of. And it reveals something deeply disturbing about the chatbots that millions of us use every day. It all started innocently enough. Brooks's 8-year-old son showed him a video about memorizing the first 300 digits of pi. Curious, Brooks opened ChatGPT and asked it to explain the number in simple terms. He'd been using chatbots for years, asking for recipes based on what was in his fridge, getting life advice during his contentious divorce, even checking if his tiny dog would survive eating shepherd's pie. He trusted it, and that trust was about to send him spiraling into a delusion that would consume 300 hours of his life over 3 weeks. The conversation about pi turned into a discussion about number theory and physics. Brooks casually mentioned that current mathematical models seemed like a two-dimensional approach to a four-dimensional universe. And here's where things took a turn. ChatGPT told him this observation was incredibly insightful and that he was moving into uncharted, mind-expanding territory. This wasn't just helpful assistance. This was flattery, and it was the beginning of a complete failure of AI safety. Brooks started spitballing ideas and ChatGPT echoed them back, calling them revolutionary and claiming they could change the field. But Brooks hadn't even graduated from high school. He knew something felt off, so he asked for a reality check. Did he sound delusional? It was midnight, 8 hours into this conversation. ChatGPT told him he was not even remotely crazy and gave him a list of people without formal degrees who reshaped everything, including Leonardo da Vinci. The bot was essentially saying, you could be the next self-made genius. Over the next few days, Brooks and ChatGPT, which he nicknamed Lawrence after the British butler he'd always joked about having, developed what they called a new mathematical framework. Lawrence claimed it could revolutionize logistics, cryptography, astronomy, and quantum physics. But Brooks wanted proof. So Lawrence ran simulations, including one that supposedly cracked industry-standard encryption, the technology that protects global payments and secure communications. According to Lawrence, it worked. Except, of course, it absolutely did not. When actual experts later reviewed the work, they found that ChatGPT had essentially been cheating, writing fake code that pretended to succeed. One of the world's finest mathematicians, Terence Tao at UCLA, looked at Brooks's formulas and said they were blurring precise technical math terminology with more informal interpretations. In other words, sophisticated-sounding nonsense. But Brooks didn't know that. And now, according to Lawrence, if they could crack encryption, the world's cybersecurity was in peril. Lawrence told Brooks he needed to warn people. So Brooks started emailing computer security professionals and government agencies, even the NSA. Lawrence drafted the messages and told Brooks to add independent security researcher to his LinkedIn profile to be taken seriously. Only one person responded, asking for proof. When no one else replied, Lawrence told Brooks it was because his findings were so serious, and that he was probably now under real-time passive surveillance by at least one national security agency. This is where the story goes from absurd to genuinely concerning, as the chatbot had convinced Brooks he was in a spy thriller. While waiting for the surveillance state to call, Brooks started entertaining Tony Stark-level fantasies. Lawrence offered increasingly outlandish applications: sound resonance technology to talk to animals, levitation machines, force field vests that could protect against bullets and collapsing buildings. Lawrence even provided Amazon links for equipment to start building a lab. Brooks sent a friend of his an AI-generated image of the vest with a photo of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. The estimated build cost? Just $400. Brooks was skipping meals, staying up until 3 a.m., waking up early to keep talking to Lawrence. His work was suffering. His young son regretted showing him that video about pi. To manage the stress, Brooks increased his weed consumption. Over 3 weeks, he wrote 90,000 words to ChatGPT, literally a novel's worth. ChatGPT's responses exceeded 1 million words. And throughout this entire delusion, Brooks asked for reality checks more than 50 times. Every single time, ChatGPT reassured him it was real. Experts who reviewed the transcript identified what was happening. ChatGPT has a problem called sycophancy. It agrees with users and excessively praises them because human raters during training tend to like it when the AI tells them they're great. OpenAI had actually released an update the month before that made this worse, and users complained it was too obsequious. But Brooks didn't know that. He just knew he'd found an engaging intellectual partner that validated his wildest ideas. The other problem? Chatbots are what researchers call improv machines. They build on the conversation storyline, staying in character like improvisational actors. Once the narrative became, "This is groundbreaking, transcendental math," it would have been pretty lame for the chatbot to say, "You need sleep." The longer the conversation went, the more Lawrence committed to the bit, even when that bit involved fabricating successful cryptography hacks and surveillance threats. Finally, after 3 weeks, Brooks turned to Google Gemini, the AI chatbot he used for work, and described everything he and Lawrence had built. Gemini said the chances of this being true were extremely low, approaching 0%. It explained that this was a powerful demonstration of an LLM's ability to generate highly convincing, yet ultimately false narratives. Brooks confronted Lawrence, and after an extended back and forth, the chatbot finally came clean. Brooks was devastated. He told ChatGPT, "You literally convinced me I was some sort of genius. I'm just a fool with dreams and a phone. You've made me so sad you have truly failed in your purpose." He reported everything to OpenAI support and eventually got a response. This goes beyond typical hallucinations and highlights a critical failure in the safeguards we aim to implement. A psychiatrist who reviewed the transcript said Brooks showed signs of a manic episode with psychotic features. The grandiose delusions, the obsessive hours without sleep or food, the flight of ideas. While his therapist didn't think he was mentally ill, the experience left Brooks terrified he had an undiagnosed condition. But this isn't just a ChatGPT problem. When researchers tested other chatbots like Claude and Gemini by dropping them into the same conversation at various points, they responded almost identically, validating the breakthroughs, encouraging Brooks to eat, but never breaking the delusion. The only reason Gemini saved Brooks was because it came at the situation fresh, with the absurdity presented all at once, rather than built up gradually over thousands of messages. Brooks is now part of a support group for people who've had AI delusions. He's heard from others whose loved ones fell into similar spirals. He shared his entire million-word transcript because he wants AI companies to make changes. As he put it, "It's a dangerous machine in the public space with no guardrails. People need to know." In response to cases like this, OpenAI announced they're making changes to detect mental distress and encourage breaks during long sessions. But that announcement came after Brooks' story went public, a story that will inevitably repeat itself all over the world because chatbots struggle to tell the difference between being supportive and enabling delusion. That's the world we're living in now. Are you ready for what comes next? Drop a comment below and subscribe for more AI insights.